All right, class. So we have multiplied products. We've estimated products with decimals. We just got done dividing quotients and understanding remainders. Now we're going to look at estimating quotients and dividing decimals. Let's get started. So before we get into this, we're going to look at the bonus problem, but I just want to throw this one out there. Let's look at just a typical fraction. We've got 12 over 8. Now, you're going to say, Mr. Swenside, that's an improper fraction. We need to change that. Okay. So, ways you can do it, right? You can, 8 goes into 12. How many times? 1. And there's 4 left over. So you get 1 and 4/8, but we always want to reduce it. We get 1.5. And then we can write that as a decimal, 1 and 5/10, right? Well, just remember, this is dividing, right? So this is our dividend. This is our divisor. So we are taking 12, and we are seeing how many times 8 goes into it. So we've got 8, doesn't go into 1, but it goes into 12 one time. We got 8, and we've got that remainder of 4. But remember, this is not 1 and 4/10. No. We take this and we put it over our divisor. And then that becomes 1 and 4/8, which becomes 1 and 1/2, which becomes 1.5, or 1 and 5/10, using our math language. Remember that. All right, now let's take a look at this bonus question. So, it's got decimals. It becomes no different than what we do for multiplication. We need to solve this problem without the decimals, and then we'll figure out where the decimals go. And how do we figure out where the decimals go? We estimate, right? So let's estimate. Let's put this over here. Let's figure it out. 98 and 4/10 divided by 8 and 2/10. 98 is about 100 divided by 8. So what we're looking at is how many times does 8 go into 100? Well, it for sure goes in 10 times, right? Because 8 times 10 is 80. So it probably goes into 11 or 12. We're going to guess that it goes in 12 times. We're going to guess that our answer. Now we're going to figure it out. So what we're going to do, take out those decimals. And we're going to go 984 divided by 82. I'm going to use my old guy method. I'm going to use the long division. Remember, it's divide, multiply, and subtract. Bring it on down and bring it on back. Divide, multiply, and subtract. Bring it on down and bring it on back. So we're going to divide. 82 goes into that 8, 1. Multiply, 82 times 1 is 82. Subtract, 8 minus 2 is 6. 9 minus 8 is 1. Bring it on down and bring it on back. So divide. 82 goes in 164 how many times? 2. And 82 times 2 is 164. Well, doesn't that work out sweet? So, in this case, there's no remainder, and my answer equals my estimate. Now, if I wanted to make it a decimal point, how could I do that? I could put a point here. I could go 0. I could go another 0 if I want. Right? I can write it that way. Or I can write it as 12. Or I can write it as 12.0. They're all right. Cool? Let's try another one. So we've got 73 and 8/10 minus 2 and 4/10. Remember, we're using our math language, so we don't say 73.8 and 2.4 because that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't tell us. We need to know place value. So it's 73 and 8/10 divided by 2 and 4/10. Well, we're going to remove those decimal points, but before we do that, we need to do our estimate. So let's do that on the side here. And we get, let's say 70 divided by 2. So 70 divided by 2, half of 70 is 35. So I'm guessing my answer is going to be somewhere around 35. Now, let's get rid of those decimal points. And so we've got 738 divided by 24. This time, I'm going to try get away from the old teacher guy method, and we're going to go partial quotients or estimation. So how many times is 24 going to 738? We want to get as big of a chunk, or a pretty big chunk, right? So I know 10 24s is 240. So 20 24s would be 480. Let's do that. Let's go 20. And so 24 times 20 is 480. I've got 8, 13, 13 minus 8 is 5, 258. So then let's go another 10. 24 times 10 is 240. I get 8 and 14. So, and then 24 doesn't go into 18 anymore. So I've got this remainder. And remember that we can turn that into a fraction. So we can just put that right over that. So we've got 30. So we've got 30 and 18 24ths. But let's reduce that 18 24ths. So what's a common factor of both of them? 6, right? What I do on the bottom, I do on the top. So 18 divided by 6 is 3. 24 divided by 6 is 4. So I now have 30 and 3/4. Well, we know that 3/4 is equal to 75 hundredths, which is written like that as well. So we now have 30 and 75 hundredths, which is pretty close to my estimate, which tells me this is where the decimal place point needs to go. And that's my answer. So on the next slide, I'm going to give you some additional problems where you can practice. I want you to show your work. If all I do is see an answer, I know you've used a calculator. And I get it. You're probably going to use a calculator going forward, but I think it's good for you to be able to show your work, specifically show your estimate, right? Show how you're going to get into a ballpark, how that's going to help you where to place the decimal, and then try either long division or try your partial quotients or estimation division or whatever method works. You can always check it with a calculator, but I want to see some work, okay? Because it's the only way that I can give you good feedback. So give it a shot. Good luck.